I think we'll start a little bit right now, and let me frame what we're talking about. This is the 2013 World of Concrete, and this year, for the second year, we are having a special area within the North Hall called Masonry Veneer Live. It's an opportunity for us to connect with our mason contractors who attend the show, and it's an opportunity to show continuation of training to what our contractors need. My name is Rick Yelton. I'm the editor of Masonry Construction Magazine, and I'm also the editor that takes care of all the events that happen in the world of concrete. And I think maybe it would be kind of nice just to self-introduce each other and say how you became part of Masonry Veneer Live. Tyler, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Tyler Whitman. I'm a product engineer with the National Concrete Masonry Association. We do everything we can with masonry, and when this opportunity came along, we knew it was something we wanted to do. So we got involved and came to World of Concrete.
JV, you want to talk
JV
about?
Hawthorne, I'm the president of the Cast-Stone Institute this year. I'm also the owner and president of a producer member of Stafford Stoneworks in Virginia. We manufacture cast stone, which is what we're exhibiting out here in the showroom.
And Scott?
Yeah, my name is Scott Matthews. I'm the vice president of the Cast-Stone Institute this year, and I'm also a producer member. I own a cast stone manufacturing company in Kansas City, Kansas.
And so I guess the first question that we always seem to ask is, what's a veneer? And because we have many of the people that attend the show, they kind of forget that veneer includes all different kinds of materials, right? Tyler, what's a veneer from your perspective?
We have many different things that we consider veneers. A lot of what we're getting into now is adhered veneer. NCMA has just brought in the manufactured MVMA, the manufactured veneer. We'll get it straight eventually. MVMA has come in under NCMA, and with that, it's a lot of adhered stuff onto concrete masonry, onto timber structures, onto steel, those sort of things. So we do a lot of that. We also do some work with concrete block or concrete brick as well as a veneer, and as well regular brick. We do a lot with that. So it means a lot of different things to us as NCMA, but adhered is what we're really getting into at the moment.
Okay.
And the cast stone veneer is a little different. It's not actually adhered. It's a sturdier product. It's 3 5/8 inches thick, typically secured with stainless steel anchorage to the wall, so whether it be block walls or concrete walls, and different shapes, not necessarily standard shapes. We have rock split face. We have larger pieces, depending on the manufacturing process, whether it's wet poured or dry tamp. Larger pieces or small veneer pieces, pretty much all custom though to whatever the end user / architect has in their scheme.
Scott, a couple of years ago, I remember talking to Jan Boyer, who was your executive director, and it seems like the most common question that the Institute was answering, how do you distinguish between cast stone and adhered veneer masonry? And didn't the Institute prepare a white paper and technology note to help contractors and architects do that?
Yes, Rick, the Institute did prepare a bulletin that helped with a couple of different things. One is kind of the question of what is veneer, but I think there's also some misconceptions in the industry about what exactly is cast stone. So that term can kind of be thrown around a little bit loosely, and so one of our messages as well has been to kind of help define the definition of cast stone pursuant to the ASTM-C 1364 and our standard specification as well.
And I think, Tyler, you've been following, of course, that the Masonry Veneer Manufacturers Association has been working with ASTM trying to establish an installation guide and procedure, and I think NVMA does have an installation guide as well.
Our third version of the installation guide is out now for about a year. We have it at our booth. We're handing it out like crazy, and they're working on the fourth version. They're going through, they're adding more details, they're getting more involved with it. There's some great stuff coming out of that. And they are working on the ASTM side. We're looking to put out a standard for manufactured stone veneer. And it's in the process of getting there. So our laboratory is doing a lot of work with that, and we're working with the mason contractors in a lot of different areas to get that involved.
Do you see that the growth of, we were talking on the way over from the hall that your business is starting to see like it used to be, but do you see that there, for the cast stone side, do you see that architects like that, the traditional look that cast stone can provide, and the security, and you see people are starting to look for that kind of product more now than before?
They do like the aesthetics of cast stone, but they also like the fact that that it's backed up with the ASTM 1364, and the stringent freeze-thaw tests we're required to pass every 2 years, and our in-house testing and independent lab testing that we have to adhere to. It makes a difference. Everybody wants the longevity and sustainability of the product, so those tests just to reinforce the longevity of our product. Freeze-thaw is a 300-cycle test, 100-year lifespan of product.
And isn't there don't you guys have like a plant certification program as well that you work through all your plant? Maybe your member plants become certified. Is that right?
We have a criteria to go through. That we also have plant inspections. Their plant. We definitely have a huge checklist, quality control checklist, and you have to pass all those line items in the test or in the checklist. When they do the unannounced inspections every 2 years, they go down the checklist and make sure you're adhering to that. So you really do have to be on your P's and Q's to manufacture the stuff in the right way.
And many of the manufacturers have a procedure they follow as well, and that's part of the growing of that particular of the adhered manufacturers also.
Yes, they do, and they're a little bit of a younger industry, so we don't have quite as many things as the cast stone does. But we're working on that, and they have a lot of standard procedures and processes that they use, so that you have the same product nationwide, no matter what it is. And that's a strong thing that MVMA has been working on over the last 5 years or so.
So when we look at how much our producer members of both MVMA and NCMA and the Institute are working to make a quality product, there's a missing factor to all this, isn't it? It's the mason on the job site, right?
Right.
And so I think, when we look at what we're trying to do at Mason Veneer Live, we're really focusing on giving an opportunity for the mason to see what the manufacturers believe is to be the properly installed technique. But Tyler, do you agree with that?
Oh, exactly. And that's what we love about it, is being able to take a mason and take a wall and have the producers and them get together, say this is how it goes up correctly, this is how it's supposed to work, and this is what it's going to look like at the end. We really enjoy that about Masonry Veneer Live. It's a fantastic opportunity for networking in that way.
And you guys have taken it to a next step level. You've actually, one of your producer members designed a wall for us back there. We have a mason coming in and showing how to do the anchorage, right?
Set up to the anchorage, actually install the veneer and window surrounds on the wall using different types of anchors that are all acceptable, but to show that there are different ways to do it and correct ways to do it. For example, in Vegas is probably different than in New York, for example, in standards of installation. So we've showed both ways. There are different ways to do it.
And you were working at the booth. If people have come by and looked at the installation, have they questioned whether this has been done right or wrong? Have you been answering those kind of questions? Or
quite frankly, they've acted like they've never seen some of the things before. But it's been an eye-opening experience for some of these guys, and to see how it's done and the different ties we've used and different connections that we've used. Yes, it's been really good. It's really been a good education experience for most people that have come by.
Are you seeing mason contractors go beyond their traditional work and adopt it, because they're once they're on the project, they do all the work on the project, and as a result they're involved with more adhered masonry, more cast stone? Do you see that? Or do you see specialized contractors installing your products?
There's a little bit of both. What we're starting to see is it's a system of masonry. You have the backup that's masonry, you have the veneer that's masonry, you've got everything in between that's masonry. And a lot of these contractors are realizing that they can get a lot of work doing it that way. So they'll go all the way through into every single step of it, and they've seen a lot of success with that.
I see the masons doing it all. I don't see, very rarely do they contract out to another installer to do cast stone. They mostly take it all under their wing and do it themselves, in my experience.
And I think some of the overall systems are becoming more complex as well. There's always new technology, new engineering, and additional ways to approach more detailed ideas for the entire building envelope.
Precisely, and even today we saw Oldcastle had a product up there where anyone could literally come up and you could place a piece of veneer on there into a plastic section, and it would go on there. They had some contractors and some people who had no involvement at all going side by side, and they were just as fast as the contractors. Is that what it is?
And do you think that the industry is going to get to a point where we're going to see masons have to be certified to install your products? Is that something that you see happening in the near future?
We have that on the back burner. We're looking into a masonry or a cast stone installation technical bulletin or program or training session for masons to install our products correctly. We haven't gotten to that there yet, but we're working on it.
MCAA and IMI have a lot of programs for training masons as far as masonry goes, and we have our own for SRWs and those sort of items. So we've seen success with that, but it's not a requirement that we have yet.
I think in the future, as the workforce changes over and you see more young masons come into it, the opportunity to show how to properly install veneer at Mason Veneer Live is something that we can make sure that the quality of the craft and the quality of the project is maintained and improves.
And that's the beauty of this, is the educational aspect for the younger generation, to see how to do it correctly. And we've seen many groups of, not would normally come to these sort of trade shows, and coming through and getting involved and seeing how this works and laying a block and laying some veneer. It's really been cool to see.
Yes.
This is your second year of doing the wall. What was the most interesting question you were asked last year?
Wasn't here last year, so I can't tell you what
it's for this year so far then.
This year, I have to think about it. I don't know. There's so many.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
You weren't there. You haven't been there long enough to know. So,
And so for the balance of the show, you're going to have events at 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon?
Thursday afternoon, another seminar where our engineer from Texas is going to just explain the different connections like we described, and the pieces of the cast stone as well.
Okay. And our intention is to try to videotape that and have it on our website. That'll be along with this interview here. Good. So on behalf of Hanley Wood and more importantly on behalf of the mason industry, this is Mason Veneer Live is a very unique opportunity. When you look at very few times have we had all of the associations in one spot, not bickering about how life is, focusing on helping train the contractor, and it's because of your efforts that we make this happen. So again, thank you for coming to World of Concrete, and we look forward to having a successful Mason Veneer Live this year and having a strong one again next year.
Hope so as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks.